Something that I learned since Hirsch was stolen from us on October 7th is more about how our governments around the world work and how politics around the world works. And before, I was blissfully ignorant, and now I'm much more knowledgeable. And so I understand one component in democracy that's very important is the concept of term limits. An aspiring democracy anywhere should have term limits. This helps leaders know that they have to use their time in office efficiently and to work with those around them, even when it's hard, in order to make life better for the people that they represent. It's challenging when the system is set up with such an adversarial paradigm that makes it more like a competition of rival sports teams rather than diverse leaders who should be coming together to try to advance and implement ways to improve the lives of the people. Even the labels we use in a parliamentary system, coalition and opposition, create a dynamic that says one side's role is solely, on a basic level, to oppose, to be anti, to block anything suggested from the other side. How terribly sad and counterproductive when our leaders should be collaborating and working together with each other to improve all of society. I think of many successful companies where the employees come together with different worldviews, religions, backgrounds, political affiliations, but they come together for a greater goal, to help the enterprise of which they are a part to be better, more effective, more fruitful, and more profitable. Sadly, this is not the case in many government constructs. The goal is to prevent people who don't have the same opinions to be squashed and destroyed. Many studies have been done about the most addictive substances in the world, but the most addictive force in the world is power. So even the most virtuous and noble people cannot resist the seductive draw and tug of power. And this is why I am proposing to the Knesset's Constitution, Law and Justice Committee to use creativity and insight to make term limits. It could be limits of 2 terms or a certain number of years of service. And which roles would be included in these term limits could be decided. Could it be for the Prime Minister or other roles as well? Without this, often, even in democracies, the risk of excessive concentration of power occurs. Such a law would avert the danger posed by excessive power in the hands of just a few, because when this ultimately happens, a single body or individual threatens the constitutional pillars of democracy and runs counter to the principles and ideas of a decentralization of power and an existence of checks and balances. Especially when there is such a diverse spectrum of opinions, it's important to have representation that is renewed and refreshed after a determined amount of time. I was once a board member at an institution that I believed in passionately, but they had a rule that after 7 years, board members had to rotate off because they needed new perspectives, new ideas, and new vigor. All the more so is this needed in our highest offices, in vibrant, dynamic, aspiring democracies like Israel's. May we merit to rise to the challenge to be the aspiring democracy we want to see now and in the future.